Okay, so I'm at the Pan African Film Festival Makers Awards, isn't it? Yeah, so literally. And this is another young man who's doing some amazing work with men, but also you've got a film, haven't you?
I have two films that I'm a producer in, but I'm the co-founder of the Nate Parker Foundation. The Nate Parker Foundation is an organization that empowers young filmmakers of African descent to use film as a vehicle for community transformation. We have two films in the Pan African Film Festival. One is called Culture Shot, and it deals with a college athlete on his way to the NBA that has to choose between a championship game or a protest with the Black Student Union. And it's kind of caught in between that. It's called Culture Shot, and it was created by my brother right here, Elijah McNutt, out of Texas and Tennessee.
Yes, sir. Born in Chicago, Illinois.
Downtown.
Yes, sir. Graduate of Tennessee State University.
Yes. So that's Texas. I said Texas. I'm in
it's
Chicago.
all good. It's all good.
You sound like Texas. I met you in Texas. But then the other one is called Heritage or Hatred, and it's a documentary about Confederate monuments and the young sister Zina Bryant, the 14-year-old who kind of started the movement to take the Robert E. Lee statue down. That led to, I think we've had over 50 Confederate monuments taken down since Charlottesville. So very powerful story. And yes, we're blessed to be here.
Okay, fantastic.
Come check us out 4:50 Sunday afternoon, please. Great film, Culture Shot. So come watch it.
Brilliant. And can you just tell me a bit more about your organization?
Yes.
You know, what is the foundation? What is the ethos? What is the concept?
Well, I mean, the concept is just that. We empower young young filmmakers of African descent to tell their stories. We put them through what we call a Sankofa journey. And my background is African American studies. I was actually Nate Parker's mentor and teacher when he was a student. And we just kind of merged. He's a filmmaker. I'm an educator. I also work in New York. I create Black Studies departments for high school. And we just kind of merged our superpowers together.
Excellent.
And we put them through a Sankofa rites of passage where they really are in touch with the way that film has been used to destroy us, the way it's been used to build us up. And then we empower them with the technical aspects of filmmaking, but we want to make sure by the time they use that camera that they are intentional and purposeful about what they create. We started in 2015. We're approaching our 5-year anniversary. We have over 120 filmmakers that are, we believe, going to take it to a whole nother level because they have that village and they have that network, and we just planting seeds and watering those seeds. I think we have at this director's brunch, we have about 6 of them here. And they're networking and
We get to meet a lot of people, learning a bunch of things that we may have never known before, or just hitting on things that we may have had questions on, but we're able to ask different questions, able to basically sit at different tables with people who are creating just like us, who actually started same places that we're starting from. So it's definitely a great opportunity to do these type of things.
Fantastic.
And
Thank you.
Brooklyn. This is Brooklyn Baker, and she is one of our filmmakers.
Hi, Brooklyn.
And she's featured in our HBCU Storytellers Project. That's an initiative where we have partnered with Virginia State, Norfolk State, Hampton University, and Virginia Union. And we have a docu-series. We created 4 films for the 400-year commemoration of the first Africans that were brought here.
Wow.
4-part series. It's called 400 Years Later, ... Free-ish, where we look at how far we've come, how far we still need to go. And I don't know what you guys say, but
the experience creating it has been amazing. Simply to be surrounded in the Nate Parker Foundation with like-minded Black amazing powerhouses that are all determined to push forward the narrative of amazing Black people. I think that that's super important. Even being here at the Pan African Film Festival, just being surrounded by excellence that's pushing the narrative of excellence, you know? So I just really appreciate being here, and thank you to being behind the camera, because you're dope too.
And this is another Hamptonian
Yes.
that just moved to LA.
Yes, hi guys.
Where have you moved from?
I moved from Annapolis, Maryland.
Okay.
So this is my 5th month out here, and it's been incredible. But yeah, I'm just thankful for Brian, honestly. Just being in the MPF program, when people ask me about it, it's like, I can't describe it. It's just life-changing. You know, you learn about where you come from, and that just really contributes to the storytelling, period. So I'm just really thankful for you and for all the people that I've met within the program. I think that's the one thing that sets us apart, is that there's a lot of us and we all know each other. So
Excellent.
it's one thing to go into something by yourself, but we have a whole army. So I'm just really excited because we're definitely gonna shake some things up.
Change the world.
And
Yeah.
one last question for you is, before you went into the program and who you are now, what's the difference?
That's a great question. I'm just so in touch with Black culture, it's just really good to know our history. When I was growing up, I didn't really learn about that stuff. It's not normally in curriculums. I was in a PWI school, so a predominantly white, so we didn't really learn about who Black people are. So being in, that's the first thing that we learned before we even put our hands on a camera or started writing anything. We just sat down and we just discussed, who are you, where do we come from, and that determines where we're going to go and how far we need to go and what we have to do to get there. So I think I just have a different mindset. The storytelling process completely changed for me. I now realize that, it's one thing to just tell stories that I want to tell, but it's also that I have to tell stories for those who can't tell stories. So it's just empowering our culture and our community and just making sure that what I put out into this world really makes an impact and sparks the brain of the person who will change the world. So
Fantastic. And I guess the really last question is the influence it's personally had on you. How have you seen the change within yourself? How are dynamics different for you as an individual?
I think just my mentality in terms of, the things that society wants us to think about and the stuff that, we see on the news and how they want to show us as Black people. It's like I don't even pay that any mind anymore because I'm now familiar with who we are and I understand the reasons behind the things that we do, the things that we do. So it's making me understand who we are. So with that, it's like everything else doesn't matter. I'm here and I'm telling stories for us, by us, so that's the only thing, and I don't want to hear anything, if you don't look like me, don't try to tell me, why we do the things we do, because you just don't know, so
Fantastic.
my mentality completely changed.
Thank you for your time. And for you, my dear, I would ask you the same thing, how have you been empowered by the process, by the filmmaking process, and as a female?
Well, basically, when we first learned, when we came into this program, Nate said that a camera is a weapon. And the power is not necessarily in the camera, but it's how you use the camera. So I think that was very powerful to me to show that storytelling is used as a vehicle of social change. It's a vehicle for humanization. It's a vehicle for love. So for me, being a Black woman in the intersection between racism and sexism, really being able to speak for the voiceless, being able to speak for the one-dimensional portrayal that is shown within being a Black woman. So this has been a very liberating process for me. This has been a very unlearning process for me, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's really cultivated me into the woman and the filmmaker I am today.
Fantastic.